So it wasn't a problematic summer romance, but
It's a petty summer.
It's a petty ass summer romance.
Welcome to Narratives and Nightcaps, books, beverages, and author conversations. I'm Bree, always ready to dive into new fantasy worlds and take a step back in time.
I'm Megan, part critic, always team physical copy, and forever chasing good thrillers and a great plot twist.
I'm Emily, your resident mood reader who thrives on chaos questions and lively book chats.
And I'm Jordan, equal parts heart, humor, and high-functioning caffeine addict. I come with coffee in hand, wine on standby, and a Gilmore Girls quote for every occasion.
Cheers!
Cheers!
hello. Oh my goodness.
Guys.
I am super excited to dive into this. I also just looked at the calendar and was like, holy crap, now we're in August. So welcome everyone in the thick of August. And it is starting to feel like fall weather, but I also feel like that's a tease. So
I will say I got a little upset the other day because like the very tippy top leaves on some of the trees in our neighborhood are starting to turn red. And I was like, don't you dare. Don't you dare. Don't you flirt with me. I'm not ready. I want my full month of August and into September. Like, stop right now. And I got a little upset about it. So I am like putting my blinders on. It's still summer, wholeheartedly summer. Despite the sweatshirt I'm wearing in my own house today, it's still summer.
Meanwhile,
Hey, listen, Emily.
I am making pumpkin bread. I went to Home Goods this weekend to buy all the fall candles. I have one lit right now called Witch's Brew. I'm pulling out all my pumpkin stuff next weekend. I'm not waiting any longer. I need it. It is a sauna outside. It's disgusting.
I also do feel that like the stores all have Halloween stuff, at least in our area.
Yes.
Like our Costco has a giant skeleton that my kids love to go buy every time we're in the store.
Yes.
And it just feels like they get pushed up because Christmas then starts like November 1 in stores.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you
of
know,
course.
pumpkin season, right? Yeah.
Megan, you must be ready for your season. How are you feeling?
I mean, my season of life is approaching rapidly, so I'm feeling wonderful. I was just thinking, like, I know, Emily, you're not quite ready for fall, but, like, I think Brie and I have been DMing fall things since, like, mid-June at least. Like, we are so ready for this season to turn, so.
The only reason that like I'm not ready for fall yet is because once we hit fall, like we go into drizzle and gray for about 8 months. I need a little more vitamin D in my battery pack before I'm ready to hibernate until I don't see the sun again until July 1st.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's
Makes
fair.
sense.
I also have just this time, it was a very short period of time, but I had a very exciting life update since we all last talked, in that I was the stepmom to a baby bunny for a couple of weeks. And it was the highlight of my summer. It was also incredibly stressful because, so a couple of things. One, we think it was a he because he was very rambunctious as a 7-day-old, or approximate 7-day-old. He kept trying to leave his nest, which is really scary here. I'll get to that in a second. Because obviously predators try to then eat him. So he was very rambunctious. We would have to put him back in the hole. Yes, we did touch him. Yes, that's a myth. Now that I have texted, and by I mean Jared, have texted with wildlife experts about this. You can pick up the bunny and put it back in its nest. And so we would have to do that to protect him because their birth moms only come, they only come like twice a day for 5 minutes. They're not there a lot. So I was really doing my job and my part to make sure that he was safe. Fast forward to a Friday, not that long ago. And I was checking on him about every hour to 2 hours to make sure that he was staying in his hole or putting him back in his hole because I was very nervous. And I go stand by my door, and we'd had a total bunny corner at that point. It was like shoes, flashlight, everything I need to go check on Billy. That was his name, Billy. So I'm standing there putting my shoes on, and shit you not, I look out the window and a snake is going into my yard.
Nope.
And
Nope. Nope.
and I have a full meltdown. I, at that second, start sweating right then and there. I hadn't even stepped outside and I start sweating. I go outside. It's not a poisonous snake, so normally I let them be, but I was like, well, what a coincidence. Like, he's for sure going after my bunny. So I attempt to call Jared. He ignores me at first, and then I text him, and I was like, we have a bunny emergency, SOS, please call. Calls me back. I start throwing shoes at this snake to get it out of my yard. And I'm also using quite colorful language in the backyard, and I'm very scared.
As one does. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm very scared. And so I'm throwing shoes. I see it slither to the side of my yard, but also on the side of my yard is like, it's my AC unit. There's some hedges, there's some stuff. And so I was like, well, what if he's just hanging out in there? That's really scary. So I go to my garage and I go get a paddle, as you would have for a kayak or paddleboard. I go get a paddle. In the midst of this, someone knocks on my door. And I think, this is somebody who just heard me screaming in my backyard. Either they're upset that I did that and said some things, or, which would happen, or they're here to check on me. No, I answer the door, and there is a high schooler.
Holding a paddle.
No, and I'm holding a paddle.
Okay,
I'm holding a paddle, and I'm sweating.
The mental image that I've got.
Yes. I look like a full crazy person. And so in my defense, he's a high schooler. He is taller than me. So to me, you're immediately then recruited to my team to help. So he goes, yes, Team Billy. So he answers and he was like, hey, so I'm going around and I'm selling these gift card things to raise money for my football team. And I go, not a problem. I will pay for one of those happily. However, I am in the midst of trying to figure out if there's a snake in my backyard that's trying to eat my bunny. And you, being a taller person than me, would you go with me? Because I'm very scared. And I need to go around the side of my house and see if he's there.
Are you and Jared at this point, who I'm sure
no,
is
Jared has left me to fend for myself now at this point. Like, yes.
Come on.
He was like, throw shoes at it, it'll be fine. Okay. It was so traumatized. So this boy walks around the side of my house with me. Yes, this young man walks around the side of my house with me. And I was just like, I'm so sorry. I know that's not why you're here. I realize I'm crazy right now. I just am very terrified of this snake, and I'm doing everything I can to protect this bunny because, like, he has nobody else right now. I'm his only person. And this kid, we go about, we open the fence, and he was like, so it came over here, and I go, yes, it did. He takes the paddle from me and starts pushing it into all of my bushes to make sure that the snake isn't in there.
Oh.
And the snake was gone. So it slithered away. It probably went into my neighbor's yard. I don't know. And, but was I stressed the rest of the day and basically had a stakeout at Billy's nest to make sure that nothing came back, pretty much. And then I avoided the neighborhood Facebook page the rest of the day in case he went home and was like some crazy woman took me into her backyard to look for a snake. And
oh my gosh.
And then I bought his little gift card thing. And
then, so what's he doing now?
So great news. So Billy, after that moment, he really settled down and was not quite as lively. So I don't know if Mrs. Billy had a talk with him about, hey, things are scary, you can't be leaving the nest. But he did really well. He grew into a full-formed bunny. He's a cottontail too, so he's got the cutest little ears and the cutest little button tail. Oh. And he grew into a full-formed bunny, and you guys, he left the nest this weekend.
How are you feeling?
I'm quite sad. I was living for Billy every day. I was checking on him every single day. Every morning I would get up and I'd go check on him, and I'd say, how are you doing? How's your night? How are things? And I'd check on him throughout the day. So I'm quite sad. I am also a little bit relieved that I no longer have the pressure of having to chase snakes out of my yard.
My first thought is the idea of him going home to his mom and being like, you will never believe what just happened as I'm trying to sell these dang football things. Some lady pulled me in.
Or even to his like coach or team, do you know what I had to do to sell those
To
cards?
sell one of these.
Oh my
That's
god.
amazing. That's amazing.
In my defense, it was not a poisonous snake, so I was not putting him in danger.
No.
No,
And
but-
you gave him a great story.
True.
Oh no.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes. So, so that's been my like real excitement. I was excited to share that story with you guys. And if you want photos, I do have photos of Billy.
Yes,
Yes,
please blow up the group chat with Billy photos. We would
Oh
love
my
that.
gosh. He was
You might
the-
need to add one to like the YouTube video, just like pop him up real quick,
Yeah.
Billy.
just so we can see who we're talking about, who our
Oh my
victim
gosh,
is.
we need t-shirts, Team Jimothy and Billy forever.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh
so
my
here's
gosh, that would be so great.
when we first saw him, we thought he might have been like an abandoned bunny. We didn't know for a really long time, so we had to search around our yard. We called in reinforcements to help us look for his nest, and then we found it. It's not exact. Once you know where it is, you go, "Oh, okay." But when you're just looking at your yard, you're like, I've
Not a clue.
no idea where this bunny came from. So yeah, he's a survivor and he's a fighter and also a bit of a daredevil. So
He's
know?
got a colorful life already,
Yeah.
and he's all of 3 weeks old at this
3
point.
weeks old and ready to roll.
we kept like looking at the stages of baby but kits they're called. We've been looking at the stages, and when he was rolling around in the grass, I was like, you are not even supposed to be leaving for short trips from your nest at this point in life. Like, you are so ahead of the game. You're off the charts.
He's an early bloomer.
You know,
No. And I mean, he felt like he was invincible, but he's gone to make his own home. And so we are excited for him on that journey. While it's bittersweet.
There you go.
oh,
Oh my
That's
goodness.
just parenthood in a nutshell.
I was
Really,
gonna
you got to
say,
experience
epic.
it in 3 weeks.
Oh my gosh. The range of emotion.
not many stepmoms can go 3 weeks from like birth to leaving the nest. Well done.
You know?
Well,
Quite a bit.
anytime we've seen his mom hanging around, I'm like, I've got you. Don't worry. I
There you
am
go.
doing my part.
Side.
Yes, I'm taking care of Billy and making sure that he survives and makes it to adulthood. I have a hair in my eye.
I love that.
Well, that makes me think of a story in our story. We are talking about Problematic Summer Romance today by Ali Hazelwood. So,
And my story makes you think of Problematic Summer
because
not-
Tiny goes missing and they have to find Tiny. And
Okay.
then they rescue, what did they end up naming it? Biddy? I think. I can't remember if it was, I think it was Biddy, that they find another dog. And of course.
Jared and I did not hook up in a grotto in the midst of all of this.
No.
Grotto in your backyard, Brie? I'm shocked.
But
No underground, like river. You could.
I'm just
You didn't just lay down and make out next to Billy's
Yeah.
nest.
Exactly the
didn't.
same. Oh
We don't
gosh.
want to
we're not
traumatize
of
him.
ourselves. We're gonna get him.
Thank you for clarifying. I was really concerned that, like, Billy was exposed to, stuff over his age range.
I'm really glad we know what I took away from that scene.
Brilliant.
Anyway. Oh my goodness. Well, before I get into the plot summary and we share thoughts, Emily, do you want to tell us our drink pairing?
I do, though I think, Jordan, your shirt might be giving a little bit of a hint on this one. So I'm going to talk through in a bit of a story, because when we last talked through this, we're calling this a mini-series, right? Not in Love and then Problematic Summer Romance. And you'll have to, listeners, listen to the episode talking about Not in Love, because that book was spicy. All caps, underline, bold. Like, we went all over it. So, of course, tequila was an easy choice. And I thought going into Problematic Summer Romance that the spicy level would continue because it's the same world but different characters, and we were just gonna swap characters and scenery and tequila spice back in the action. But this book surprised me because that was not the case with this book. There is spice. I'm not going to say there's not. It's an Ali Hazelwood. There is spice and not, grotto scene and among others. But it was more like summer romance. It's in the title, than necessarily like I'm going to burn the house down chemistry every other page. So I changed it up and I thought an Aperol Spritz was the best pairing for this story for many reasons. Let alone this takes place in Italy in the summer. And if an Aperol Spritz isn't like the best way to pair with that scene, I don't know what is. But also an Aperol Spritz has the right level of sweetness. So an Aperol is more bittersweet rather than like over the top sweet. And that just burned me of Connor a little bit. And also this romance has like layers and history and it's complicated and we're going back and forth. So the bittersweet part of Aperol came into play for me there. And then Prosecco just screams Maya. Like playful, social, slightly mischievous. It's just like Maya wrapped up in a bubbly drink. So all of that to say, Not in Love and Tequila definitely said things are about to get spicy and dangerous. But for problematic summer romance with an Aperol Spritz, it's more of things are about to get complicated, but we're going to have a really good time while they do. Cheers.
Well done.
Thanks. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. My goodness.
It's summer in a glass and summer romance in a book, pun intended.
Love, absolutely love. Okay, well, I cannot wait to dive into your thoughts, but first, let me take it away with this recap. Thank you, Goodreads. Maya Kilgore is 23 and still in the process of figuring out her life. Connor Harkness is 38, and Maya cannot stop thinking about him. It's such a cliche, it almost makes her heart implode. Older man, younger woman, successful biotech guy, struggling grad student, brother's best friend, and the girl he never even knew existed. As Connor loves to remind her, the power dynamic is too imbalanced. Any relationship between them would be problematic in too many ways to count, and Maya should just get over him. After all, he has made it clear he wants her gone from his life. But not everything is as it seems, and cliches sometimes become plot twists. When Maya's brother decides to get married in Taormina, she and Connor end up stuck together in a romantic Sicilian villa for over a week. There, on the beautiful Ionian coast, between ancient ruins, delicious foods, natural caves, Maya realizes that Connor might be hiding something from her. And as the destination wedding begins to erupt out of control, she decides that a summer fling might be just what she needs, even if it's a problematic one. Okay, so I feel like the best place to start with this one is actually going to be you, Emily. And I want to hear from Megan and Brie, of course, but when we talked about Not in Love, right, and then we led up to problematic summer romance, you made a really big call out, which was like the potential comparison of this kind of redemption arc like Charlie Florrick, our beloved Charlie Florrick, to Connor Harkness. So I'm dying to hear your thoughts. Please kick us off.
I was going to open with that because I'm going to make a bold claim. I think Connor is the Charlie of this series. Brie might violently disagree with me. I know, Megan, I don't think you've read the books yet on those ones, but that's okay. I thought for me, I appreciated Connor's redemption arc a little bit in this one. I think we got a lot more insight into his family and like his growing up and where he came from and his perspective on things. I don't know if I would put him as high on a pedestal as Charlie is for me, but he definitely had that Charlie redemption arc from book 1 to book 2.
There you go. That's fair. What about you, Brie? Would you agree with that? Or what were your thoughts?
How Emily ended it. That's exactly where I was thinking, is I wouldn't put him quite as high up as Charlie, but I agree. I mean, I think that I think we kind of knew that. We anticipated that. Otherwise, would this story be what it is? Probably not. Um, but I thought it was really interesting to get a lot of his personal history, to have an understanding a lot of his dynamics in Not in Love and really what was happening kind of behind the scenes once all of that was revealed. So I definitely agree with that.
I think the part for me that really sold it, me, that it was going to be like a Charlie redemption, was the part when Maya learns all of the things in that. I think it's a 3-year gap between the wedding and Ireland or wherever they were, right? When things first started. And all of the things that she attributed to either her brother Eli doing, like building her bookshelves, or she attributed to like a friend of hers. Like she attributed all of these nice things that had happened to other people in her life, which logically made sense. But when she finds out that it's really all Connor that had done all of that, that's when it was like, we've now come across the curve of the redemption piece.
There you go. No, that was well said. Okay, Megan, what were your thoughts on this one? I'm curious to hear your take on this book.
Yeah, I will say I think I appreciated this book a lot more than Not in Love. I think for me, because it was so much less sex driven and there was actually like a story unfolding before you and not just like, let me bang you in a closet real quick, I felt a lot better about it. And I also appreciated, like, I love that it was like a totally different setting. I think for this book to be successful, to me, it really did need to step out from the biotech world and where Not in Love started. And so I very much enjoyed that this was their wedding, and it was, Eli and, oh my gosh, I can't even remember her name. Rue, thank you. Their wedding, and so that there was like obviously joy and chaos leading up to it, but I'm so glad that it was not another corporate environment where stuff was, or even in this case with her being a student, like another classroom type of scenario. So I'm glad that it just totally took off from there and truly leaned into the summer vibe, the beach, all of those scenes instead.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you calling that out, because that actually is kind of one of the key highlights and points. This was probably one of Ali Hazelwood's better descriptive novels, in my opinion, that I've read. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I probably would have to do a little bit of research on that, but I'm pretty sure all of her other work has stayed in the US, right? Like Bride and Mate is kind of Pacific Northwest, and then we've got Austin, Texas here. And then obviously Deep End was like California. But this one taking place in Europe, taking place in Italy, like I definitely felt like I was so much more immersed into it. Not that she didn't do a great job in her other books, in my opinion, helping you kind of like feel like you were in it there too. But I mean, I absolutely I wanted to be in it. I wanted to be there the way she was describing it.
I wanted an Aperol Spritz at that villa, and just be there
all
myself.
Day, every day. All day, every day.
I think, Jordan, one of the things that I was thinking about, like, with the location of this story too, is just the nature of Maya and Connor's relationship. I don't think the book, like, their relationship had to also have a destination somewhere to get out of their day-to-day to have that spark, right?
That's like a great point too.
I think if they had done the wedding in Austin, just playing the what if game, I don't think they necessarily would have gotten together or talked about their feelings, or I think that played a big part in them actually realizing what was between them.
They needed the forced proximity. Not to make it about me, but I could only think about the wedding that I'm going to in Italy.
Hey, No, that's awesome.
Literally all I could think about the entire time is I was like, okay, and what's going to happen at the villa when I go to the
Well,
wedding?
hopefully
None of
the one
this.
you are about to attend
None of
is,
this.
I was about to say, hopefully it is not as disastrous. Let's kind of start there because that's a quick sort of, storyline, plot line that we can cover. Oh my gosh, listener. Go ahead, Emily.
Jump in. Sorry, Jordan, but I will say, Brie, when you go to the wedding in Italy, if you and Jared become like the couple that Maya was texting, that was the help.
My dream.
If you and Jared have a situation like that, you have to report back.
Oh my gosh, my dream. The way I would be so excited if a girl came up to Jared, I'd be like, okay, excuse me, especially if she is like gorgeous. What if she's Italian? Like, but then if he came back and he was like, hey, this is what happened, I would be so excited.
You'd be like, hope she texts me now and let's help.
I know.
Literally would be like, this is my dream.
Oh, I would text you guys from Italy and be like, update. This is what's going on.
There's the plot follow through that we missed. Ali Hazelwood, if you're listening to this, I think next book needs to be that couple's story. Okay, cool. That might be interesting. But then also number 2, how they should have become friends with Connor and Maya. I mean, that's
oh my gosh. Oh, here it is. Okay, now Connor and Maya are getting married, and that other couple is getting married, and they're on their honeymoons together. Boom.
Boom.
There we go. There we go. I love it.
Done.
I love it. I love it. I love it. There you go. 1,000%.
Did I just become an author? I think so.
Write it. I love it. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, so we talked about, basically, listener, whether you read this book or not, all that you need to know as far as like Eli and Rue's wedding is that everything that could go wrong kind of did go wrong. Volcano erupting, she didn't have her dress, like people that were supposed to come couldn't come. That was definitely a point in the book. But let's talk about some of the bigger points, obviously. I'm going to kind of dive right in on this one. And obviously that is the big age gap, right? The whole age difference of it all. Because this is where Connor just kind of put his walls up, like tried to enforce some boundaries, right? Like he was like, absolutely not. This cannot happen. Too old for you. Power differential, all of these things. Let's just start with the general question. How do we feel or what do we think about this age difference? Please.
I realized it was in the title. I don't think it needed to be referenced as problematic as many times as it was.
I tried to take a summary of the number of times problematic was written in the book.
And
I lost track and I was reading.
it was at minimum once every single chapter.
I was going to
at minimum.
I was going to guess around
about right
15 to 20 times, give or take, like every time. Yeah.
It was a lot.
It was a lot. It was because I remember texting you, Brie, at one point being like, so we know it's problematic because it's stated everywhere that it's problematic. So for me, I feel like this age gap, 2 things. 1, eye roll. Like I'm just so over it also came up every single chapter. Like we fucking get it. I literally wrote in my notes on my phone, we fucking get it. Like the age gap, understood. 15 years difference. My question to you, ladies, what is an acceptable age gap? Is that okay? How do we feel about an age gap?
I'll jump in, Your Honor, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah. Permission granted.
Motion to speak. No, I think for me, it's less the age gap, and this is going to sound really weird to say, but less the age gap and more the age of the younger person in the relationship being of a adult and consenting age, which is like a very mouthful to say, but like, Maya was 20, right? When they first sort of like sparks flew, and you're an adult at 20. I mean, you're 20. She was living on her own. She'd been living on her own. Like she was young, but she was making her own choices and, you know, doing her own thing. And so consenting and willing, and there's no overbearing power dynamic, that is a consenting adult.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
This is me tapping my gavel of here. Yeah, I agree.
I was with you.
I'll third it, Your Honor. And I will say, and I appreciated the addition of, I don't remember if it's a conversation or whatever is said, that essentially like Connor and Maya weren't really in each other's lives when she was younger. So it's not like there was any other motivation that happened prior to her being of a consenting age. And I thought that that was an important addition to the story. It's brief. It doesn't take up, it was the right amount of, hey, here's what you need to know context wise about where these feelings started. I thought that was really important. So yeah, I almost didn't think it needed to just be then like hounded as often as it was, even though I get it. That's literally the title.
Well, I kind of want to add on a little bit to what Emily shared. I mean, it does come down to the younger individual, right? And like their level of maturity, their, you know, not only just ability to consent like you're talking about, but like, is that, you know, how does it work and how does it feel for them? Perfect example to use today. As a matter of fact, ladies, it's the anniversary of Elvis Presley's death. Y'all know I'm a huge Elvis girly, right? Let's talk about it. Priscilla was 14. His wife was 14 when she met him, and he was 24. That is a very different conversation that we're having versus 23, 20. And by the time of the wedding for Eli and Rue, right, Maya is 25, 26, and Connor is like 38, right?
She's 23.
Yeah, 23.
But I think
she's 20.
I thought it was 23 and he was 38 when
in Italy.
At the wedding?
so it was 20 and 35, and then 23 and 38.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, there we go. Yes. Anyway, but still, even if you don't have the fully developed prefrontal cortex, you are a little bit older. Let's also talk for a second about the fact that, like, for a young individual, Maya had been through a lot in her life, right? Losing both of her parents and dealing with all of that, being raised by her brother. Some of those experiences as well shape your level of maturity and kind of lead you on that path. And so this age gap, this age difference, I kind of have to second what Megan said, or fourth at this point, if Emily and Bree agreed with what Megan said. It's like, yeah, okay, we get it. Now, there is another book out there, The Idea of You by Robin Lee. That's another very different example, right? Let's talk about that, where the woman is older than the guy. We're talking about 30, the woman is 38, 40, and the guy is like 20, 22. So that's an even bigger age difference. Not that I didn't love this book. Please hear me when I say great writing, loved the book. It gave me the ick, though. It just did. It gave me the ick.
Sorry to interrupt you, Jordan, because I also feel like, and Brie, you can cut this if it's like getting way too whatever direction we're going here. But like I feel like in your example, Jordan, and I'm just generalizing, but I do feel like there is a big, I don't know, taboo around then an older man with a younger woman versus an older woman with a younger man. And I do feel like those scenarios tend to give the older woman with a younger man, I feel like generalized, have given people more of that ick feeling for whatever reason, because it's almost seen as more acceptable for an older man to be with a younger woman, just because historically we've seen and heard and felt a lot of that. Brie.
I was sorry, just adding on to that. Generalization here, I feel like it's a double standard.
Absolutely.
In that we have societally accepted it when, to an extent, obviously there are exceptions. So speaking generally here, don't take it out of context. I think societally we've accepted it if it's a man who is the older one, but then when it is flipped, it feels a lot like a double standard. Because if we're talking about the same thing of, okay, the one being is older, is in her mid to late 30s, and then the man is younger, but is also of consenting age and is an adult, then it feels like a double standard.
Yes.
That we are,
No,
and that we're holding.
I would agree. As a woman in my mid 30s, right? Like, I think that the whole factor of it for me is, I don't know that I would actively go out or actively pursue and seek a relationship.
I'm not saying that I would.
And it's up to every.
Like, no.
Yeah,
And that's where the creation of this whole double standard, in my opinion, comes into play when we're talking about the book that I mentioned, right? And I read it for my book club. All women my age or older. There was a woman that was the female main character's age. And she said, I can't put myself there because I don't see myself making those choices. That doesn't mean that another woman in my age range can't, right? But anyway, go ahead, Emily. Yeah.
Your Honor, motion, please.
Motion to grant.
Thank you. You need a gavel now.
I know. Where's your buzzer?
My button doesn't serve as a gavel very well. But no, I think that, just to kind of bring it all together, I think that's one of the reasons, right or wrong, that this book was so successful, because this came out last summer and it was like everywhere, wildly popular. Not only Ali Hazelwood, which alone just like gets to the top of the charts, but this particular story is one of the ones of hers that I think gets a ton of attention. And it's a good story. I enjoyed it. But she navigated this age gap isn't taboo, but it's not as talked about. It's not as mainstream in romance novels. And she handles it by avoiding every hurdle, if you will, that could like get in the way. Like Brie, you mentioned, she addresses very quickly that, it was not a grooming situation, right? It wasn't like they knew each other all growing up. Like they connected first when she was 20. They talked about how she made the first move. He held back to avoid a power dynamic struggle. It is an older man and a younger woman, not the other way. Like it was very, I don't know if it was intentional or not, probably was in some cases, but I think that's what makes this such a powerful, or popular rather, story, is it almost is like it passes all the tests, which is a weird way to say that. But
I follow. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you can tell that she was very intentional with that.
Yeah.
I didn't read The Idea of You. I have watched it though. But if I found a thread between the two of those, so I don't know. Like, I don't know if The Idea of You spoke to a lot of those things, or I would imagine in some, like it had to have addressed, because the movie somewhat addresses it, like being an older woman attracted to a younger man. Yeah. But in both of those, I would say, like, both of these also came down to that it was about the right person, not about their age. And I think that is a key in both scenarios too. So it's natural for all of us to like, and for book clubs to talk about it and say, well, if I was in that situation, would I do the same thing, make the same decisions? I think it's hard for you to say one way or the other 100%, because it's about the person and not necessarily about the age in both of these instances.
Yeah, and I think I just want to I want to go on the record and say there's absolutely no rhyme or reason. I am in no place to judge it whatsoever. Like, that is not, you know what I mean? Like, I do in fact know, like, childhood friends of mine, high school friends of mine that I have seen that have relational age gaps in their romantic partnerships, and that's for them. Like, that doesn't bother me, you know what I mean? But anyway,
I think for me though, because I'm going to go back to a comment that I think we've all said multiple times, is like, at a certain point in the story we all were going, we get it.
Yeah,
we get it. Like you are hitting the nail over the head. And I was almost surprised that there wasn't, like, it was ad nauseum. I thought Connor was going to have more objections about Maya being Eli's sister and being like his best friend's sister, and worried about like the dynamic of the group.
That would have made so much more sense.
And the fact that in their group, like his ex, almost fiance, is also part of the group. And now he's like, I don't want to say going after, but like kind of starting to date his best friend's younger sister. I thought that dynamic was going to be the bigger barrier then, and the age gap was just going to be like the first couple chapters, and then we get into the meat of the relationships. But
and
that didn't seem to happen.
And this is where, for your girl over here at least, Connor Harkness just does not hold a candle to Charlie Florrick, because he frustrated the out of me with this whole thing. To your point, that I was waiting for the whole friendship with Eli to come up. I was waiting more for the whole, like, okay, what about the, you know, the
enemy, right?
The group, and the way that that's all, we're seeing it live today with the whole summer house spiel. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, I don't know. It seems like all of you were in agreement with that one too, but that was where he really started to irk me. It's like, no, this is just you needing to get over yourself is real. And I think what I found frustrating, this will kind of take me to the next part of it too, was, and this is in like one of the notes about the highlights that I put in here, just the protective fierceness, right? Like that Connor would have, like, I want you, but I can't have you, or I can't have you, and even though I can't have you, nobody else can either. And he would put down her choices. What we talked about at, you know, earlier, there's a scene, listener, if you haven't read the book, where like they're, you know, all going out and she sees him watching her, so crosses this guy at the bar and asks him to flirt with her, and is like, hey, like, there's this guy that's over there, Connor, and I want to, you know, I want to ruffle his feathers. I want to get him jealous a little bit. Let's talk. Let's exchange, you know, and he just takes the bait, and they end up becoming friends, you know, him and his girlfriend, not Hans, and all kinds of, you know what I mean? Like, but that frustrated me. I'm not going to lie. Like, it really, really did. It just felt like, and she called it out. That was something that I loved and appreciated about Maya, is she called out it was infantilizing, right? Anyway, Emily, you looked like you were going to add on that.
I was going to just underline in bold the last statement you made on that one, that Maya, what I appreciated was Maya was strong. I mean, we've talked about before on the podcast, like, I think, Megan, you share this, when the female main character like doesn't have a backbone, or like doesn't say what she means, and you're just like, come on, you know? Yeah. And in this case, for me, I appreciated those moments when Maya like snapped back, or was like, that's not fair, and called Connor on his shit on some of that. So it didn't so much bother me that Connor was doing it, because Maya came right back and like addressed it. If she hadn't addressed it, or had noodled in her own thoughts about it, or like whatever she had done differently, I think it would have bothered me more. But the fact that she clapped back, if you will, it was like, all right, that was appropriate.
I will just say too, I don't condone the behavior, but in this context, I kind of like watching him squirm, or reading about him squirm.
Same.
And I was like, yeah,
no,
like,
I don't blame her. I don't blame her for doing that at all. And so frustrating. I don't know.
Yeah, I just appreciate that she wasn't, I like that she wasn't going to be shamed either for like her feelings, or for her like wanting to hook up with someone at the wedding. Like, that's totally her prerogative, and I'm glad that she went after it. I mean, I felt that particular scene, Jordan, that you described at the bar was a little immature in my opinion. However, she was also 23 years old, whatever, and I understand what she was trying to do. But I mean, to echo Emily and Brie, like, she came back and she explained herself, and then she's like, well, why can't you do the same? Like, quit being a bitch and let me just live my life.
Yeah. I mean, essentially. And I will second that. I can see the immaturity of it obviously a little bit too.
It's a little petty.
Yes.
Of
yes.
course. Of course.
Which I'm okay with, like, a little bit of pettiness here and there. And she knew what the outcome was going to be too.
Yes.
Right.
And so that's where I'm like, okay, I think it's a solid move in this case.
There you go.
Yes.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
Well, and again, I mean, she had been through a lot, right? And she, in a way, yes, was still trying to figure out what she wanted. But I think also at the same time, she was setting that example for Connor, be it petty or not, right? To say, like, I know how to get after what it is that I want, though. And, like, you're over here kind of just too chicken to say it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I think
Anyway.
it took the 3 years, because I think we've also talked a bit on other like romance stories. It's right person is important, kind of key
Yes.
whole thing, but also right time. And there's been a
Yes.
lot of stories that we've read and we've talked about where the timing was right or the timing wasn't right, or the whole book is about the fact that the timing is like always off. And I think for this one, like I was reflecting on the story, you know, if they had actually gotten together it was Scotland that they were,
Scotland.
right? Scotland.
Ireland, yes. He's from Ireland.
There you go.
Yeah.
Scotland. Thank you. My mistake. So when they were in Scotland, if they had actually gotten together, like at that first moment, it wouldn't have stuck. My opinion. I think it would have fizzled. I think it would have been, you know, fine. But the fact that there was 3 years of getting to know each other and like kind, you know, in odd ways, but at least like getting to a common level of respect, I don't think it would have lasted if they had gotten together at the beginning. So I think part of Jordan, what you were describing, like that pettiness, I think is like the volcano in the story, it erupted. Like it just, they need like years of building that, you know, it truly is the slow burn part of the story that made it when they got to a destination wedding and they, you know, breaking up your day to day and it's a tropical location, and that it kind of was inevitable that there'd be some pettiness thrown around because it just like, she was over it. He was like, it just reached that point.
No, that makes sense. I completely agree. Backtracking just a little bit. So, listener, kind of what Emily was talking about. So, Maya goes to school. I think it's University of Edinburgh, University of Scotland. I can't remember exactly where it is, right? She meets this guy, Alfie. She's with him for a while, almost like 2 years. I think it was like 16, 18 months that they had been dating or whatever. And then come to find out, like, he actually ends up having feelings for her roommate and her other best friend, Georgia? Is it Georgia? Georgie? I cannot even remember. Not important. But they end up, Alfie ends up essentially like breaking up with her and then getting together with her roommate. And that's a whole thing. And that's kind of where like White Knight sort of situation, Connor comes in to the rescue, so to speak. I wanted to ask a question about that though, because so Georgia was Maya's roommate, right? Who ends up with her boyfriend, Alfie. And Rose was another girlfriend that ended up connecting Georgia and Maya, because I think Rose and Georgia were cousins or something like that, right? So how do we feel about how all of that went down, right? Because Maya eventually finds out that Rose knew. Rose like knew there was something sort of brewing between Georgia and Alfie and like didn't say anything to Maya, and she's stuck in this lease right with Georgia. Like it definitely is a sucky situation that, yes, as like a college student, youngish 20s, I can totally see people getting caught up in. But I wanted to get your thoughts on all of that. It was a small part of the storyline, but I also thought it was interesting.
Well, Megan lit up first, so Megan.
Well, it doesn't matter. You say your thing, girl. I'll wait.
I don't
I
really
need to
have
probably
any.
finish my thoughts.
Okay, well, unfinished thoughts here. I'm totally in Connor's camp on this. Like, her friends sucked. The trio, all of them,
You did
all
call
three.
them out and say they sucked. Yes.
Yeah, they all sucked. I don't really know that I have anything else to add to that. I did love Connor, like, swooping in to.
It was so
I
good.
loved that. Yes, that was amazing. White Knight, shining armor, showing up. Did I, like, kind of see it coming in that moment? I was like, oh, he's for sure gonna be there 100%. But I loved it. The faking sex against the door. If I was a 20-year-old girl and this, like, 35-year-old pinned me up against the door and faked sex, I would be like, okay, wow, but did it work? Yes. And do I like that pettiness? Also, yes.
Turns out this is just a book about pettiness. It all worked out for everyone.
So it wasn't a problematic summer romance, but
It's a petty summer.
It's a petty ass summer romance.
But I think her friends sucked. Like, I think they sucked from the beginning. The fact that her one friend, whatever her name is, Rosa, I don't remember. And hopefully Maya doesn't remember at this point either, too. Like, the fact that she didn't tell her, it shows a lack of loyalty.
Yes.
I think it's not to throw this out there, but, like, there is a girl code with that too, regardless of the fact that the other girl was your cousin. I mean, she was your friend, and I think there was a way for her to say that in the context of if this was happening in real life, not for the sake of the story. So yeah, I think that was, like, a really, really shitty situation. Haven't been in that specific situation, but my freshman year I did have a situation with roommates to the point that, like, I do remember sitting in a parking lot crying, trying to find flights home. Like, I've been there where Maya's at.
I was
want to hear mine because mine's so clutch. My roommate and I had a crush on the same guy, right? Who at different points also had crushes on us, each of us, in our campus ministry, whatever. He's now her brother-in-law.
Oh,
Messy.
Messy.
Yeah.
Messy.
okay.
Yeah.
Small world for that situation.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
That's weird.
I think we've all had maybe awful roommate, situations. As I'll echo what Bree said, and I haven't been in that exact situation that Lacka was in, but I did have a college roommate situation that did not end well for the friendship, and it just, it sucks.
It does suck.
It does, and I think the part that really, really boiled my blood about Maya's situation in this book is the gaslighting that her friends put her through. Like, it's one thing to be a shitty friend. Rose and Georgia absolutely get in that camp, or a shitty boyfriend, ex-boyfriend that Alfie was in. But for all of them to gang up on her and have this, like, it's really your fault, you should have seen it, and we all need to be friends, oh, and we don't like Connor, that part of, like, that layer of the whole thing is what absolutely, like, I would have been flipping tables if I were Maya at that point.
No
and I'm
doubt.
surprised she didn't flip tables, throw darts, like all of it, because that was just the awful, awful part of it.
I echo that, Emily, because I feel like, similar to everyone having a shitty roommate situation, I think we've all probably seen or been part of a situation where there is, like, a ganging up against someone, whether you're the victim or a bystander or whatever that looks like. And I think that, to me, resonated the most out of all of that is, hey, well, we can still make it work. Like, if you just ignore all of the shit that went in front of you, then we'll still be roommates.
Was like, oh, I'm not gonna kick you out though.
Right.
Like, but I'm not gonna kick you out.
Okay, well,
But
who
I
are you
kick you
doing any
out.
favors for? Like, what? What the hell? Yeah.
Yep, those are people that show their true colors, and you need to cut them from your life as soon as possible.
Immediately. Yeah.
Please. Yes. Exactly.
I know it was a small point of the story, but see, this was why I wanted to bring it up, because it felt like it you know, it bared talking about.
I do feel like that is something that I don't know. I don't feel like I hear from as many men that they have had that college experience, but I think you can find any girl on the street and she will be able to relate to that situation in some way, shape, or form. Because
I
that
would
is
dare
just
say even younger. Like, I mean, middle school, high school,
Oh.
like those
Girls-
girl codes, they get broken real quick in those points of your life, unfortunately.
and girls get mean really fast.
Really
So
mean.
mean.
Oh,
mean.
they get so mean. Yeah. Find your people and you don't have oh, I have a funny story about all of this. So this is not related, but just popped in my head. So I went to get my nails done on Friday. I go to the same person every time. Her name's Mia and I love her. And there were these two little girls that came in and she was telling me a story. I don't know their ages. They were probably like 4 and 6 maybe. And she's telling me about we'll call her the 4-year-old, and she goes, oh my gosh, so funny. She's been getting notes sent home because she's had people come up to her and they'll be like, I want to be your friend. And she's like, I have enough. And so she's been getting notes sent home. And then she had someone else that they were playing on their playground and the other child did something. And she was like, I don't think I want to be your friend anymore. And then just got up and walked away. And so this girl's been getting notes sent home. And I was like, no. She should never change. These are important. These are so important. I was like,
You
this
realize
is a
I
great...
didn't say those things until I was in my 30s?
Yeah, I was like, as someone who is very much trying to learn boundaries in her 30s, if someone had taught me that as a 4-year-old, that like the quality over quantity is valid and very, very real, oh my gosh.
I want to go find her on the sandbox now and just give her a high five and say, go.
I was like, please, like, someone tell that little girl to never, 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 never change.
Yeah.
Oh my
That's
God.
amazing.
That's awesome.
I love that line. I have enough. Because honestly, I sometimes feel that way too. Like I'm good. I'm maxed out on friendships right now. I don't even have the capacity to keep up with everybody that I'm already friends with, so I cannot add anymore.
My tank is full. You should be like, you seem like an awesome person. I have a waiting list. If a spot opens up, this would be great. But have a nice day.
I wish I was that cool to be like, actually, you're number 99 in line. Just hold on.
But listen, throwback to Crazy Rich Asians. If you got that koi pond on that private jet, I'ma bump you right up.
Real quick.
Right up.
Real quick. It's too funny.
Oh, okay. Well, listener, I don't know that there's too much more that we really need to get into. Obviously, happy ending, right? Connor finally grows a spine, admits that he does have these feelings, isn't going to fight it anymore, which, okay, maybe that's one of our final sort of questions or discussions that we can have. How did we feel, or what did we think about the group's overall reaction, specifically to Eli as Maya's brother and Connor's best friend? My personal thoughts and opinion, not that it was glossed over or anything like that. I thought that there were some good moments between Eli and Maya as well. They kind of talked through a couple things and whatnot. But once he finally realizes okay, yes, I do have feelings for this girl and this is going to be a thing. And then, everybody else sort of finds out about it. It wasn't that big of a deal. You come to find.
For me, throughout the story, I feel like Maya was getting, well, first of all, the whole group saw their flirtiness, and I think some maybe saw it for what it was. I think Eli took away the flirtiness over those 3 years as Maya just trying to get under his skin, just using it as a younger sister annoyance tactic. But I think everybody in the group picked up on it, because throughout the story, I think it's Minami. Am I going to butcher her name?
Minami.
Minami. Thank you. when she like pulls, her aside, or they have that moment on the stairs like after dinner, and Minami's crying, and they like have a heart to heart. I feel like that was kind of a moment where like Maya got her blessing a little bit, or understanding, or they like sort of had a moment. So when it got to Eli, I thought he'd be a bit more emotional.
More of a reaction.
I felt like he should have had maybe a bit more of like an initial reaction, and then gone into the like perfect older brother response. But yeah, that was the only thing I was like, wow, he's really cool about this, for just figuring out 2 + 2 is 4 and putting it together. But what are you gonna do?
Agree, Megan. Do you have anything to add on that one?
No, I mean, same thing. I expected more of a reaction. I did not expect him to be as accepting as he was so quickly. So I don't know what that says about my maturity, but I was just surprised by it. Quick note, unrelated, but just before I forget it, because you were kind of talking about the ending, and I don't know how others feel. This one, I kind of wanted more of an epilogue, something that was like 1 year later, 2 years later, something. It felt a little bit unfinished to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it just sort of ends with the proposal, and then you're kind of like, oh, okay, like,
yeah.
Well, I think the other
I agree.
open thing, and I don't know if we need to talk much about, but like Maya's career choices were all up in the air. Like, does she go for her PhD? Does she go teach? She was all over the map, and she chose to go teach, I think it was kindergarten, while she kind of sorts through what she wants to do. So I'm with you, Brie. I would have loved like 5 years later, or like 3 years, whatever, like that she found her path, and here's what she chose, and she's doing wonderful things, and it's fabulous, and her ring is wonderful, and whatever it would have been.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you too. I think for me, I almost wish, since we love to just hound in that age gap, if Connor would have been the more mature person and almost like taken the group of friends aside and been like, hey, here are my intentions. Like, not that formal, obviously, but just like, here's what's going on as like the older, more mature, more successful and wealthy person in this relationship, to my group of friends that I know and trust and have known for a long time. This is where I stand, and this is what I would like to see happen with Maya, whether she wants that to happen or not, kind of thing. So I wish there would have been more of a moment like that, where maybe he took that initiative, especially with Eli, and been like, hey, brother to brother, like, this is what's going down. I'm in love with your sister, that kind of moment. Versus, again, like we said, kind of an anticlimactic, like, okay, yay for everybody.
No, that's such a good point. I kind of wish there had been some sort of, I'm going to say grand gesture, but it didn't need to be that, but some sort of grand gesture proclamation, even if it was just Eli and Connor, and guaranteed this was all Maya's POV here, but somehow if we could have gotten that, even if it was Maya eavesdropping on the conversation.
If Eli and Maya had a moment where he was like, hey, and Connor talked to me, and blah, blah, like just something like that. Yes.
Or Connor shared it with her.
Yes. Throw in a chapter from Connor's POV at the very end.
At the very end.
Very end. Like the epilogue from Connor's POV, or something that we would have gotten like his view on everything.
Now I'm so curious if there's any bonus content out there that is that.
Sure.
There you go.
Perhaps.
I will look. I'll let you all know.
I've been re-looking at my notes and like making myself laugh at my own notes from this book. But I did have a couple things that I just wanted to ask the group. First of all, the use of the word cunt in this book. Did anyone else catch up on that? Because I was like, whoa, what are we saying?
I think after Not in Love, I'm not surprised.
You're not shocked.
I'm not
anything.
Like, I'm just not shocked by like certain words in this miniseries. So I think I glossed over it because it was Not in Love sort of just ripped the Band-Aid off and the first layer of skin.
I also, because especially when Connor uses it, to me that's so natural for anyone in Ireland, Scotland, England to use it. I don't know. To me, I'm always like, what's the context? Like, oh, it's cunty. Like, that is a,
It's giving
Yeah.
it's, or like, if it's sexual, I don't know. To me, I'm always like, what's the context of it? And so I don't think it really, I don't know, stuck out to me, but that makes me giggle.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm looking back, like, why did I even write that down? I don't know. And then the other line that got me was toward the end when they finally hook up and they have their big moment, and it just keeps coming back to him being like, I want to put a baby in you. Like, this is my biggest fantasy. And then I wrote, quote, then she's orgasming like she's never done it before. So these are the things that I picked up from this book. Oh, and then one last thing, because we kind of glossed over it. I'm annoyed that the actual wedding never happened. Like, wouldn't you be pissed off?
It did.
They got married. Yeah.
But, like, there wasn't, like, for all the people that were there, nobody else got to participate.
I know.
Fair.
I was kind of like,
Okay, but here was the really fun thing, was because like a few hours later, right, when like everybody's awake for breakfast. Okay, yeah, that is a really cool story. So listener, if you didn't read, I mean, obviously, if you're listening to this, we've been yapping for over an hour. So again, spoiler friendly, not spoiler free, whatever. I don't care. Don't come at me. But Eli and Rue's wedding is just falling apart. And essentially it leads to, it's like the third or fourth day at the villa at this point, and stupid early in the morning before the sunrise, they decide to wake up Connor and Maya, and they're essentially letting them know, like, you are our witnesses. We're just doing this right here, right now. Like, we're done with all of the chaos that has been ensuing as a result of all of this. And then a few hours later, everyone's awake and they announce that they just like went ahead and did it. And was it Tamron or Naota? I can't remember which one it was. I think it was Naota. I can't remember. That literally was like, all right, pay up, everybody. Like,
I love that part.
She was like, yep, see, this is exactly what I knew was going to happen.
I also think it was very Rue. Sorry, Brie.
Yes. No, I agree with that. I was just going to say, but how cool would it have been to have your photos with a volcano erupting in the background? Yeah. I would have been like, all right, so here's the thing. We need to change everything so you can see that in my pictures.
I just want a pillar of smoke right behind me at all times.
Yeah, that would be sweet.
Classic photo opportunity.
But it was very rude. Sorry, Emily. Yes, super
No,
rude.
I'm in your camper. I would have been like, that needs to be in our photos. Like, yes.
Pivot, everybody. Pivot the chairs.
But I do think I wasn't as upset that that's how the wedding happened, because it was very Rue. I was almost more surprised that they were doing a big wedding, given everything we learned about Rue and her like personality and everything. I was like, wow, that's really big growth maybe of her. I don't know, but it felt more her to be like in a t-shirt dress and, you know, no one else really there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so goals for my Italian wedding.
Yes. Let's make a checklist real quick.
Yes.
Okay, so goals. Somehow help another woman, make her fling jealous, something.
Have a not Hans moment.
Have a not Hans moment. Okay, great. Concise.
We rescuing a canine?
See, here's the thing. I can't do that because I'll never come back from Italy. I will live which that's not really a bad thing. So as long as we're all okay with that, that I will never come back. I have a very hard time parting with animals, as Exhibit A, Billy. So I don't think I can. I'm also can't afford the canine airline that they are flying. So I think I'm out.
Imagine declaring that is.
So if there was an animal moment, it would have to be able to fit under the seat in front of you on the way home.
Yes, and also like what are the laws with all of that? Because as someone who has looked this up on how to get Kai into other countries.
Yes.
There's a lot of legalities that go into all of that. So, let's put a pin in the animal thing and figure out something else. Like, I find it, but then its owner approaches me on the street and I say, I found your dog. And then they're like, oh my gosh, yes, great. We own this villa and this vineyard, and we're actually looking for a daughter-in-law to gift it to. And I'm like, I saved your dog.
Say
Number
that.
six.
I have a suggestion.
Okay.
Not getting food poisoning should also be the goal.
Number 3.
Yes, I will also go with that. I feel like I'll be eating a lot of pasta and pizza and drinking Aperol Spritz, so I feel somewhat okay. I mean, I feel pretty good, pretty good about all of that, but we can add that to the checklist.
It feels like a solid goal. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not gonna hook up in a grotto with Jared.
No steamy sex scene from you.
I was going to have animal with or without grotto. That's
Dang it.
Like, the whole, like, nature hooking up.
Seems really messy. That's all I'm saying, is that it just seems really messy.
That feels like a hop, skip, and a jump from food poisoning.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
So, okay, volcano, yay or nay?
Oh, I don't know if it'll happen in the area that we'll be in, but I'm all for adding it. And if we make it happen, great. For sure, Mount Vesuvius. So does like inactive count?
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
We'll look at
Okay.
it.
Why
Then
not?
volcanoes, yes.
Yes. Check.
Already on the itinerary.
So here's the thing. I already have a whole trip to Italy planned because we had one and we had it booked and then couldn't go. And so the second our friends were like, we're getting married in Italy, I was like, done.
Done.
Okay.
It's all
I've
back
got
on the menu. We're good. Yes.
I've got the whole trip planned. I just have to pencil in a wedding in the middle of all of that. No problem. Done.
Perfect. I love that.
Perfect.
I'm so excited. Well, you'll have to report back and
Yes.
let us know.
We have over a year to go, but I will happily I was literally trying on dresses a couple weekends ago, and I was like, this wedding's over a year away. I've got plenty of time.
Yep. There you go.
But I was looking at dresses, and I was like, but how good would that look in Italy? It would look so good.
So good. So good.
Anything you buy right now, you're like, but how will it look in Italy? Because that's what we need to base it off of.
Yes. Yes.
I love that for you. Well, we are saying goodbye to our beloved Ali Hazelwood. I mean, I won't. I absolutely will keep reading her. I am going to be a completist at some point or another. So,
Have
I've
you
got
read
more
Deep
of her
End?
to read. Yes,
Did you see it's going to be adapted?
I did, and I'm definitely here for that. I will be curious and interesting to see how that gets adapted. I'm more excited and more thrilled for the Love Hypothesis, 1000%. Not saying that Deep End didn't deserve an adaptation or like isn't worthy of one. I mean, but y'all heard me shooting through the rafters over Emma M. Lyon, and I will take that adaptation all day, every day over. I was like, Deep End, okay, like, we'll do this. I'm intrigued. Wasn't at the top of my list that I would have expected, but I'm still here for it. Okay. So yes, we are slowly but surely wrapping up summer. As weird as that sounds, we still have some time. So Emily, soak up your vitamin D, charge your battery, do what you can. And Megan, I pray the same for you, especially in somewhere like Iowa, for sure, 1,000%. But I'm also super excited for our next series. I think that this is going to be a really, really intriguing one. So we are going with A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. That will be our next series that we're tackling, our trilogy. I do believe it's a completed trilogy. So very, very excited to dive into this one for fall with you ladies when we get together for our series special corner next time. Any other announcements or anything like that coming up, Bree, for the rest of the month?
The rest of this month, so we are definitely rounding out with summer with our conversation with Sarah Ackerman about the Shark House, which was amazing and such a good summer read. But if you haven't gotten to it, honestly, a good one year round, good to read. Especially if you're afraid of the ocean, maybe read it in the winter, maybe not in the summer. But if you are like me and like Emily, then you love the shark facts and you love sharks. So definitely that conversation. And then, yeah, we're jumping in with mysteries and thrillers for September. I'm not going to lie. We have, for the most part, it's all like mystery thriller books that we were talking about. So we were talking about The Getaway with Kieran Scott, In Case I Go Missing by R.N. Swan, and You Know Why by J.T. Ellison. We also will be transitioning into spooky season a bit more with How Not to Renovate a Haunted House by Jenny L. Howe at the end of the month.
That is an incredible lineup. I love it.
Love
I love
it.
it. I love it.
It's a good one. It's some really good conversations. So yeah, that's what we've got going on.
Okay. Well, until next time, ladies, I appreciate you all and happy reading. Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks so much for listening. The Narratives and Nightcaps podcast is a production of The Craft Co. with intro music created by Remington Haynes.
Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow at Narratives and Nightcaps on Instagram or visit our website, narrativesandnightcaps.com.
Sign up for our newsletter to always know what we're reading next, which authors are joining us on the show, and for extra bookish and beverage info.
Connect with our additional co-hosts, Jordan and Emily, as well.
You can find me on Instagram at Cozy Reads and Sips.
And you can find me on Instagram at books.bottles.
Cheers!
Cheers!